Okay, today I'm up in the mountains and I'm going to show you how to make homemade spinach dip. And this is pretty easy, and I'm up here in the mountains, out in the forest, so if I can do it out here, you can surely do it at home. So what you got to start with is an onion, and you need 1/4 a cup of diced onion, diced kind of small. So I have this little device here called a chop wizard, and what it is you slice your onion and you lay it on the grid and then bring down the lid and it dices it for you, and you can measure how much you have by looking here on the sides of the base of the chop wizard. So I'll show you how this works. I need 1/4 a cup finely diced onion. So I've got my slice of onion on there. I peeled it and cut off a slice, and what you do is you just bring this down like this, give it a good whack, and lift it back up, and there are your diced onions. And I need about 1/4 cup, so it looks like that's about right. That's about 1/2 a cup, so I'll use about half of that amount then. And that saves having to dice the onion with a knife which takes forever. You're also going to need 1/4 cup of diced red pepper. So since I already got the chopper out, might as well do that now. You won't need this ingredient until later on in the recipe. But same thing, I'm going to slice off a piece of this, put it up here, and get my 1/4 cup diced red pepper. And just like that, there's your 1/4 cup diced red pepper. Next, you melt a tablespoon of butter in a medium-sized saucepan over medium heat. And once that's melted, you stir in the onion and 1 clove of garlic. Now with the garlic, I use garlic that's already been chopped and minced, and I think 1 teaspoon of this equals 1 clove of garlic if you're going to use fresh garlic. So once that's melted, that butter, we'll add in the 1/4 cup chopped onion and 1 teaspoon of the minced garlic, because I'm using refrigerated garlic. If you're using a fresh clove of garlic, you want to mince 1 clove of it. So here's the teaspoon of garlic and the onion. So you cook and stir that until the onions get a little tender. Shouldn't take too long. Boy, that smells good already. The garlic and the onion, it's a great combination. So we'll let that cook until that onion gets tender. Then once that's done, you add in the cream cheese, 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese, and 1/4 cup of milk, and you cook and stir that until it's smooth. So that'll be the next step in a few minutes, once this onion cooks up. So here's the 8 ounces of cream cheese. That goes into the pot, along with 1/4 cup of milk. And then you just cook that until that cream cheese gets smooth. I like to break it up into chunks so it melts faster. See how I broke that up into chunks, the cream cheese? So that should melt in about 5 minutes or so. You just kind of keep stirring it and wait until the cream cheese melts. And then we'll add the next ingredients. So once the cream cheese gets pretty smooth like that, you add in a 1/4 teaspoon of shredded lemon peel. You can just buy this in the supermarket as a spice. It comes in a little glass bottle, and I've already pre-measured mine out. That's a 1/4 teaspoon of shredded lemon peel. Then you add in 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. Then you add in 2 teaspoons, I think that's pronounced Worcestershire sauce. but you add 2 teaspoons into the dip. And the optional ingredient is a couple drops of red hot sauce if you want. So I'll just, only a couple, like that. And you mix all that up. I've already added the steak sauce right before the hot sauce. So you mix all that up. I almost forgot the main ingredient, a 10-ounce package of frozen spinach that you've thawed and drained. I did this earlier and put it in a baggie, and so that goes into the dip as well. So you got to mix that spinach in because it's been refrigerated, so it has to heat through. Can't believe I almost forgot to add the spinach when I'm making spinach dip. So once the spinach dip is heated through, you can add in 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk to reach your desired dipping consistency. So I'm just going to add a tablespoon of milk. And then you add in the chopped red pepper, the 1/4 cup, which I have right here. Throw that in there and give it a good mix and let it heat through for about a minute or so. So that's how you make homemade spinach dip, and there's the final product. Doesn't that look delicious? So what you do is you take some tortilla chips like this and dip it in and enjoy. Oh my God, that is so good. That spinach dip, I mean, it's a great recipe, easy to make, and believe me, you are going to love it. Oh, that's great. So that's how you make spinach dip. Another cooking class, this time not in the desert, but up in the mountains. So here's my campfire for tonight. And it's just after sunset. Here's looking up at the sky around me, up here in the forest. And